Affinity Xtra, be Xtra.
Okay, guys, you're locked in with DJ Marx, and I'm here with another interview. As I was saying, we've got the man himself, Pastor Travis Greene, right here with us. He's a multi-award winner, been nominated for Grammys, and he's won multiple Stellars, and has also had his track made away as the top song on the billboards. So we're going to get in with him today, and we're going to be discussing his music and finding out a little bit more about the man himself. So, Travis, how are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm on a diet, Mark.
Yeah, I could see that you was telling me about your diet ice cream,
my sugar-free ice
your
cream.
sugar-free ice cream. What flavor is that one?
It's called butter pecan.
Okay, butter pecan. Guys, in case you want to go and give it a try, that's his butter pecan ice cream there, the sugar-free version. But yeah, like I said, thanks for taking the interview today. And we just want to discuss your music with you. And I want to take the listeners on a kind of a journey in terms of Travis Greene, looking back at some of your older stuff as well as stuff you're doing now. So yeah, let's begin with it. So I know that you started your music in career in like 2007.
Yeah,
so it's been a while. You've been on the scene doing your thing, and like you've been very successful in that time as well. But just to start off with, tell us, what were you doing before 2007? Was you involved in music in at all, or was the music literally the start of in 2007?
No. So I was a church musician. So I played piano in church, most of my life.
Yeah.
And around 2005, I was in college, and the pastor of the local church that I was playing keyboard at, he heard me sing, and he was like, "Hey, you should lead worship." And so that's how it started. That's how it started. And so I would start leading songs from time to time. I wasn't really that good. And then 2007, I decided to make my first album. And so at that point, I had only been singing publicly for probably 2 years, 2.5 years.
Okay, wow.
Yeah. And so I made my first album in 2007, and it was just a little local album. And I made a couple more. And then 2014, I got a major record deal. And then 2015 is kind of when everything happened with, Intentional Made Away and all that stuff.
Yeah. I want to touch back on something that you said. So I know your first project that you did was the More project. Now,
Well, about that.
yeah, I found that I'm a very good when it comes to the researching. So I know you did the More project, and I've got to say, the Travis Greene that we know now is very different to the Travis Greene from the More project, and I'm talking about the image, the sound, everything is so different. So, do you ever look back on your that initial project, and if you do, what are your thoughts surrounding that compared to where you are now?
One of the major differences, honestly, was money. Is what I could afford to produce at the time. The More was all program instruments. There was no live instrumentation on that at all. And so we just kind of did the best we could with what we had at the time.
Yeah.
So the quality just wasn't that good, but it was a good start. The writing wasn't too bad, but it was real urban. The approach was very more hip hop leaning than my future work would be, and so it was. Everybody starts somewhere.
Yeah, everybody does start somewhere. You know what? That one thing that I'll be interested to find out, because like you said, that particular project had that very kind of urban look. So the Travis Greene from 2007, and maybe even we go back a bit more, let's say the Travis Greene from 2004 to going back to 2002, what would have been on his playlist?
Oh man, 2002.
Yeah, but let's say like between 5 years prior to the actual More project.
Oh, I mean, it was all hip hop. There's a lot of Eminem, Outkast, a little Jay-Z here and there. I mean, I was heavy hip hop. 50 Cent, all that stuff. Back 2002 is when I graduated high school, and so back then it was a lot of hip hop, some R&B, 112, and a lot of these R&B groups, Jagged Edge, lot of these groups from Georgia. So it was a lot of hip hop back then. And then probably closer to 2007, it was more, urban gospel. So more
Yeah.
Cat and Jones, Dietrich Haddon, Ty Tribbett, that type of thing. And Israel was a big heavy influence too. But childhood, it was Kirk Franklin and John P. Key were my biggest childhood
Okay.
influences. Just kind of evolved as I got older.
Change. So like in terms of that whole obviously, like you said, you was into the hip hop and stuff like that. When you actually did start your first project, the More project, did you ever envision that, in 2021 you would be doing the style of music that you're doing now?
Yeah, I mean, I always wanted to be a Christian artist of some sort. The particular kind that I was gonna be, I didn't know yet. I didn't know if it was
Yeah.
gonna be hip hop because I wasn't much of a singer. I'm starting out, or if, what kind of music it would be. And I think just over time and over my influences and the more different music I listened to, the more I evolved, and so I got introduced to more like CCM is what we call it, but more
Yeah.
like Christian, white Christian music. I got more introduced to that kind of later in life, so around 2009. And so that really heavily influenced my desire to play guitar, and it changed up my songwriting a good bit and made my approach to songwriting more vertical than just horizontal. And so I think just over time I evolved.
It's definitely, I could see the change, and there's been a massive growth in terms of the music that you've been doing from then and up till now. But guys, we're going to get into a bit more of the interview with Travis Greene, but we're just going to have this track right now. This one is from Shekinah. The track is called On Top of the World and Finch's Governor B. Here we go.
I've been searching for everything that I prayed for. I can't believe I found a love like yours. When I call on you, you're right on time, so I don't have to worry. 'Cause you made all this you saved someone like me. In my darkest days, you give me the grace to see another day. All that I can say, thank you for your love. I
singing songs. I'd fall asleep in the worship when Mumsy brought me along. She'd wake me up in the service and tell me don't do no wrong. Sit there looking all nervous, yeah, that's the life that I'm from. But I stay grateful for all them lessons. I'm in sessions guessing where I would be without all the blessings. It was tough hearing the reverend pray my dad up into heaven, but still we move cause this legacy that we step in. I just came from Ghana, flew out with all of my brethren. Had to toast to the forefathers, the legends. Sacrifices, progression, put that culture into my message. Way back we were stressing, now it's 12 us as we resting. My God is good, gotta thank him way in advance. Cause even when I'm in valleys, he brought me out of the dark. I'm looking back on my life, I've come too far. But God ain't finished yet, so I keep him close to my heart. Man, I'm blessed, 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 blessed.
Okay, so Travis, like I was saying at the very beginning of the interview, one of the things that I do pride myself in doing when I'm doing these interviews is the research around the artists and getting a bit of history about them. And, you know, I took a little look on your Facebook and I thought, let me check out what his bio says. And it was just very simply singing, preaching, love, loving. And you know what, that really struck me because the simplicity of it is not something you usually see from a lot of artists. So why did you choose that simplistic message for your bio? And is there something that you're just trying to a message you're trying to get behind that?
It's a great question, Mark. I think for me, honestly, I like who I am as a person. I think more than just what I do. And so I try not to never really allow accolades to define me. I think that's a very dangerous place because if you live by the applause of men, you'll die from the lack of it. So for me, I just really try to focus on, you know, what's most important to me, and that's going to be God. That's going to be my family. That's going to be the local church, and then everything else is, you know, is cool. But I don't let it. You know, get to my head.
Well, you know, you're talking, you're saying obviously about the fact that your focus is really about, you know, about God and the church. I know that you're a pastor now yourself. You know, did you ever see yourself becoming a pastor when you first began? And also, how do you manage the transition from, you know, having the pastor's hat on, as it was saying, and going to the artist and then maybe back to the pastor again? How do you manage that?
Yeah, I think early on it was more of a challenge than it is now because I wasn't sure who I wanted to be. You know, I was trying to differentiate between the two a little more than what's necessary. So now you know, I think God really just freed me to understand that it's both and, you know, like Easter, I'll be doing some worship with our worship team and I'll be preaching. I just think who God's created me to be is who I am, and that you know, that's just, it's that simple and not being convoluted in trying to differentiate too much. So I let the chips fall where they may, you know, and be who I am and try to love people.
You know, it's funny actually, because one of the things that I saw when you're doing your preaching is that sometimes you like to use props as a demonstration in terms of getting that message across. So how big a part does that play in terms of your preparation in the prop, you know, and is that an important aspect for you in terms of relaying the message to your congregation?
I try not to force it. You know, I think sometimes it is. Sometimes it helps, you know, get the point across. But the biggest key for me is, bringing to life what it is that I believe God told me to share. And so however I can do that is how I try to get it done.
So I want to kind of touch back on the music again. Your track especially, and that you've got called Won't Let Go, taken from your Broken Records album. Tell us a little bit about that track, because I was listening to it, and that is one of the tracks that really touched me in terms of the message on that. But what was the vision behind that particular song?
Oh man, I just think 2020 was a rough year, and so and even leading up to that, it was just so much turmoil. I think the timing that it was released as a single was very necessary, but even leading up to that, when we recorded the song back in 2019, I just thought that the idea, the concept of knowing that God is in control, there was so much turmoil going on around the world at the time, and even in my personal life. I recorded the song on the anniversary, the 30th anniversary of my father's death, and so I sent the song to my mom, and I sent it to a friend of mine. I was battling cancer at the time, and just wanted to encourage them. It was my final gift to my friend before she passed. But just wanted to encourage people that, man, God is still in control, and He won't let us go.
Amen. That's a very strong and powerful message. And I think that's so important to remind people, especially like you said, during a time where there's turmoil going around in the world, for the Christians to kind of come forward with that voice and say, you know what, we're representatives of God, and we want to let you know that that there is something else beyond what's happening around you right now. And there's a strong message going out there to let them know, you know what, God is here. God is in control of this whole situation. And guys, we're going to play another track right now. So this one coming up right now is by Vonnie Morgan and Nuyi. It's the new track from their crossover project called I Will Not Fail. Here we go.
Oh, my Savior forever, yeah. You are my keeper, yes you are. You are my keeper, yes you are. Yeah. I am chosen and not forsaken. I will not fail. I will not fail. He goes before me. He stands beside me, and I will not fail. I will not fail.
Today, you will not fail. No matter what bad news they gave you, no matter what bad report they gave you, I came to tell you, you will not fail. Let's take it up. everything don't look like it's going your way, Jehovah still keeps you. I know you had a hard transition, but I came to tell you Jehovah is still keeping you. No matter what they told you, I'm here to tell you Jehovah keeps you. For he keeps on making a way. Yeah, he keeps on making a way.
Okay, so Travis, I know you were saying earlier in the interview you try not to obviously let the accolades and everything else kind of like take control. But, you know, sometimes it's good to give people credit, you know, where it's due, because you put a lot of hard work into it. And one thing that I know is that you obviously in 2017, you did like a massive like sweep in the Stellar Awards, picking up 7 awards on that night. Was there ever a point, as you've heard your name the first time and then the second time, was there ever a point where you got to and you thought, you kind of like hid behind your hands and thought to yourself, oh wow, this is kind of like more than I ever expected?
No. I think I got to a point where I was like, man, I hope artists aren't getting mad, because it was more of that. That's probably more on my mind than anything else. I was just like, man, I hope like people aren't getting sick and tired of, you know, what's happening. But no, I was definitely appreciative of it. I mean, you know, it was just a special moment in my life, one that I'll never forget. It was a really, really cool experience.
You know, one of the things that I'm interested in, because I know obviously you're a singer, songwriter, you're also a musician, pastor. But if God was to come to you now and do like a Solomon on you and say that he's going to give you the chance to have any gifting or talent that you desire, what would you ask to be added to you now?
That's a good one. That's a really good question. I'm really happy, man. So I don't know. I guess I think I honestly would probably ask for the same thing Solomon did. Just wisdom, wisdom to lead God's people well, wisdom to make right decisions, wisdom to love my family well. I think that's the key to everything according to Scripture. And if you can get wisdom, then you can be trusted with more. And so, before asking for anything more, I just ask for the wisdom to manage it.
Okay, so then, you know, that is a massive part of like you said, the wisdom, just asking God for that wisdom, because it obviously helps you to direct where you're going in terms of your career and your ministry. And as we're looking at that aspect of things, what can we expect for 2021 from Travis Greene? Is there any like new music on the way or any big projects touring? Tell us what's happening.
Yeah, new album, man. I'm working on a brand new album that will be released this year. But leading the album off is a brand new song that comes out this week, and it's called Easter.
Okay.
So it'll be out 3/26, featuring Todd Delaney, one of my best friends, and then the music video for it will be released on Good Friday on April 2nd. So we're really excited about that, man. It's a massive record, giving a lot of shout outs to Africa and the Caribbean and Haiti, and so you kind of hear different influences, cultural influences throughout the song. So I'm pumped about it.
You know, we're looking forward to that one. Great song, and you've got a great collaboration on there as well with Todd. We had him on the interview last week, and we had a good chat with him. So we're looking forward to that one. 2021 sounds like it's going to be interesting. One of the new album, guys, from Travis Greene. If you want to find out anything else in terms of what Travis is doing, make sure you follow him on his social platforms. Travis Greene TV on all the networks, and then just type in Travis Greene on YouTube. You'll be able to keep up with him and all the projects coming out, including this new single as well. Travis, it's been such a pleasure chatting with you today. We'll definitely be supporting the new single when it comes out.
DJ Marx, you're the best, man. Much love to you. Can't wait to come back and hang out with you.
No doubt, and we'll be looking forward to seeing you over here in the UK sometime soon.
All right, my brother. Much love.
Oh, we live. Turn your radios up. The one and only Danielle Houston.
I've come to terms with this. It's the end of a true relationship. I was holding on and wouldn't let go. And it's a shame 'cause nobody knows. No. give me more. I'm tired of the fight, God, I wanna win the war. Battle in my mind, the devil tried it. I spent a lot of time misguided. Lesson after lesson, I'm pressing, progressing, trying to get to perfection. A long way to go, but I'm going. Lord, I need your love. So give me more drops, just fill me up. Give me more drops, overflow my cup. Give me more drops, just fill me up. Fill me up. Lord, I need your love. Give me more drops, just fill me up. Give me more drops, overflow my cup. Give me more drops, just fill me up. Fill me up. Fill me up. Just fill me up. Yeah. Yeah. My world's going crazy. I haven't been talking to you lately. When you're the only place I get my safety. What sense does that make? My world's going crazy. Haven't been talking to you lately. How can I ignore the one who made me? What sense does that make? Lord, I need your love. So give me more drops, just fill me up. Give me more drops, overflow my cup. Give me more drops, just fill me up. Fill me up. Lord, I need your love. So give me more drops, just fill me up. Give me more drops, overflow my cup. Give me more drops, just fill me up. Fill me up. Fill me up.
Visit us for updates and shows at affinityextra.co.uk.